Electoral officers were observed to be wearing face masks and complying with all the non-pharmaceutical measures stipulated by the National Center for Disease Control, NCDC. However, most voters were seen without face masks in some polling units visited. For instance, at polling unit 2, Ward 2, Ayamelu, LGA, this was observed. Also at polling unit 9, Ward 1, Ekusigo, LGA, voters did not comply with social distancing. Welfare of security officials. Security personnel deployed to the state, especially the Nigerian police force, were poorly remunerated. For instance, while police inspector and senior police officers were paid 67,000, the rank and file were paid 32,500 as allowance for policing the election. We observed that a lot of policemen were found without hospitable accommodation. This portrays a wrong impression and brings to the fore the issue of welfare package for security officials, police officials, which has been a recurrent challenge in previous elections. INEC logistics operational challenges. Clean Foundation observed voting did not commence early in some polling units due to the malfunctioning of the BVAS devices, which were newly introduced and deployed by INEC. And like we said, there had been a test of those devices at a by-election in Isoko South in Delta State. For instance, in polling units 010, 011, and 014, Ward 3, Dunukofia LGA, there were reports of late accreditation due to the malfunctioning of the BVAS device. Similarly, at virtually all the polling units at Ward 2, Anambra East LGA, and polling units Ward 4, Unit 4, Ward 4, Abagana, Njikoka, LGA, we observed the malfunctioning of the BVAS device and poor logistics by INEC, including the delayed commencement of polls. Moreover, at polling unit 001 and 002, Ward 5, Orumba South, LGA, BVAS malfunctioned and could not authenticate the fingerprints of voters. Hence, it resulted to delayed voting. Also at Ward 2, Aguata, LGA, we observed the same challenge of the BVAS, including polling units 010, Ward 8. However, INEC officials were seen in attempts to fix these technical, or logistics challenges with the device. Conclusion and recommendations. Despite the improvement noticed in the conduct of the Anambra State gubernatorial election by INEC and security officials, several gaps were observed, with capabilities to disrupt part of the electoral process. In view of the observations noted, Clean Foundation recommends the following to deepen the democratic process and improve election security in Nigeria. This is ahead of future elections that will be held in 2022 and also the general election 2023. For INEC, our recommendations. There is need for INEC to improve on logistics and operational challenges associated with the bimodal accreditation system to deliver more transparent and credible election. The Commission's result portal should be improved for more transparency and accountability through the automation of the sum of votes received by political parties at the polling units. INEC should prosecute electoral offenders to serve as deterrents to others. INEC should provide enough sensitive material such as Braille for voters with visual impairments. The Commission should train and retrain electoral officers and its ad hoc staff to enable them meet with the changing needs of the elections or electorates in Nigeria. There is need to also conduct more voter awareness of the BVAS machine. There were instances in some polling units that the device was confused with the defunct smart card readers. For future elections in Anambra State, and given the persistent low turnout, which is fast becoming a historical pattern of the state, we urge INEC to embark on high-level dialogues with key stakeholders, including traditional and religious leaders, to encourage the electorate to come out en masse to cast their votes. For security agencies, our recommendation is that we call on the security agencies deployed for election duty to arrest and investigate all those who were involved in vote buying in different parts of the state for prosecution. For the politicians and the political parties, they should maintain peace and be magnanimous in victory. They should work with all Anambra citizens, including those in the opposition parties, to improve the governance of the state. For the electorate, and particularly for those in Ihiala LGA, the electorate in Ihiala LGA should turn out en masse to exercise their franchise in the supplementary election to be held tomorrow, 9th November 2021. They should exercise patience whenever INEC has challenges with technology and internet connectivity. They should also remain calm throughout the process and until the formal declaration of the winner of the election. For the media, they should desist from production of sensational headlines and hate speech that can contribute to increased tension before, during, and after the elections. They should verify and fact-check all information received before releasing to the public. They should remain professional, neutral, and non-partisan in the discharge of their duties. Reports across the 21 local governments of Anambra State indicate that while there were early arrival of voters for the polls, there were delays in the arrival of election materials and INEC officials at some polling units across the state. Opening of the polls was found to be generally late across the state. However, a few polling units witnessed early arrival of INEC officials. For instance, at Unit 4, Ward 2 in Njikoka, LGA, election materials arrived by 8 a.m. and voting commenced at 8:30. Similarly, at polling Unit 2, Ward 1, Oka South, LGA, voting also commenced early. For late opening of the polls and arrival of election and security officials, at polling Unit 21, Ward 20, Nnewi South, LGA, there was the absence of security officials and election materials as at 9:20 a.m. Similarly, at polling units 08 and 09, Ward 001 and polling units 1 and 2, Ward 002, GRA, Anaocha, LGA, there were delays in the arrival of election materials as at 9:30 a.m. In the preliminary findings, 47% of security personnel arrived the polling units across the state before 9 a.m., while 53% arrived from 9 a.m. upwards. Possession of firearms at the polling units. Clean Foundation observed 88.9% of the polling units across the state were protected by unarmed security personnel. However, there were reports of firearm possession by security personnel who were on patrol across the state. Adequacy of security personnel at the polling units. Clean Foundation observed adequacy of security personnel at all the polling units observed by our observers.
I think it will be nice for us to monitor the process closely, and Clean Observer in the state is also will be there alongside all of us here and also colleagues across offices that are also monitoring the process. So after which we can come back and speak. But at this moment, I think it's important we give INEC benefit of doubt to deliver, ours is to monitor the process before further reaction. Thank you.
I think your other question is if we have